It's starting. We are live. Hello,
Hello, everyone.
We're live.
Welcome to another Monday live stream.
What's up, everybody? I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, Meg's back. Look at that.
I am back. I never left.
And she might be leaving again.
I might not be leaving. I might be leaving. It's all up in the air.
So she has no clue.
No clue. No clue.
As far as
all.
Today goes, she is here. So
yes.
Here is Megan.
Megan Knight.
Meganite.
Meg.
Meganite.
It's weird if you call me Megan.
Yeah. I never
is.
call you Megan.
Yeah, it's just strange.
I don't do that.
Meg.
It's weird.
I'm Meg to you.
I call you Megan when I'm pissed off.
Great. Just like my parents. No, I'm just kidding. They don't do that.
Like my parents.
Megan Elizabeth Whittles.
Ooh, that's her middle name? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have literally the most basic
British name.
white girl
ever.
name ever.
It's
Megan Elizabeth.
I
personally know several other Megan Elizabeths out there. It's awful.
Really? You're the only one I know.
Most basic name. Thank you, Mom.
Anyways, so today
we are revealing ourselves.
We are going to be talking about shamanism, which is one of the... Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Which is one of the reasons why Megan just said we're revealing ourselves, is that a long time ago, Meg and I...
Like 6 years ago now.
Has it been 6 years?
Yes, since I've met you.
Oh, since you met me.
But like, it was very shortly after I met you that...
Because then I was doing the shaman... Okay, wait, hold on. See, now we're like just figuring things
I think we
out.
should start back to when we met. I think we should.
A long time ago.
We're going to share a little bit of a story first, and then we're going to talk about shamanism.
Yes, we will be talking about shamanism today. Specifically native shamanism surrounded on the Mohawk tradition.
Yes.
So that needs to get very clear.
Hi, Micheline.
Oh, Micheline. So... Well, how we met, yeah, it's also like pretty hot in here.
Yes.
So we're trying to like cool down.
We got
and
no
think at the
AC.
same time. So the way Meg and I met was actually back in my day, but a long time ago, in a land far, far away called Westboro.
That is not where we met. We met at Carrie's old apartment buildings. I swear it.
No, we met at Moon Church.
Yeah, at the Carrie's old
No, we did it at the Res.
I know we did it at Carrie's old apartment
I
buildings,
swear we
too.
did it at the Res. No, you did it without me a couple times. And then I showed up to the third one that you guys did.
At the Res?
At the Res. I swear.
All right.
I'm not
We
just
remember
trying to-
this differently. But we both do remember that we met
Apparently I was somewhere I didn't realize.
We're different on the locations, but we met at Moon Church, which is something my friends and I did on the full moons and the new moons. We got together at night somewhere outside, set out a blanket, some incense, some candles, oracle
Some
cards.
crystals.
You know, and wine. We always had wine. And we switched it up. New moon, red wine, and the full moon was white wine. It was fun. Anyway, Moon Church. Andrew joined us one time. Andrew and I just became best friends right then and there. Mm-hmm. And then Andrew, then you can tell your part of the story on how you learned about shamanism.
Is that my turn now?
It's your turn now.
All right. So first I want to start by saying that there was a shaman by the name of Ron. Ron was 100% Mohawk. He spent some time, I don't know how many years it was, fighting his council and debating with his council to be able to teach shamanism outside of just their localized tribe. And he his argument was reigned true, is that this is for the world, it's not just for us. And this biggest setback, of course, was due to the history of this country with the natives and things, which is completely understandable, of course. But Ron did fight for that because he knew that he was here for the world. He wasn't just here for like 20 or so people. Hello, Lisa. So he fought them. He won. So he was able to teach people outside of the tribe. Unfortunately, we never got to meet Ron, although I know that Ron was a very nice guy. He was like a father figure, right? He was hilarious. He was really goofy, but also at the same time knew how to be stern when the time was right. Basically a really good teacher, really good father figure. Hello, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
So, with that being said, he taught a significant amount of students outside of the tribe, which then led to one of those students teaching us, who we have since moved on from and have started our own group with some of the people from that group. So I am saying this on TV or whatever this is. I don't know what to call it, but I was lucky enough to be named a shaman. And yeah, I did my due diligence with it. I did a lot of due diligence with it. A lot of responsibility comes with too, and we're going to get into that. But we figured it was a good introduction, a good, possible outro for Meg, because this is the thing we connect on, because Megan is also a name. Meg is also a named shaman too. So we are both shamans of that tradition. So yeah, very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into what being a shaman entails, what the day-to-day is like, how your life possibly changes once you're named, what you can do, where you can go to possibly learn these things, basically just seeking out a shaman. But we have something important to tell you all too. The giveaway.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm like,
we're gonna be giving away this little guy here. I don't know if you want to put that in the crystal cam.
So this is a Colombian quartz.
Yeah, really nice one too. A very clear one. Please
ignore my nails.
Today we're going to be talking about smoky quartz and clear quartz, because what we bring up later is that, at least in this tradition with shamanism, we don't use a ton of crystals. We focus heavily on nature and... Hello, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
We focus heavily on nature, and we focus heavily on earth and the elements and the directions, but... the two crystals that I remember using the most, at least in the different, if you want to call them rituals or like things that we do, was clear quartz and smoky quartz.
Yes.
Because smoky quartz brings out all that negativity while clear quartz puts it in. So a lot of times we'll have clear quartz around our heads while smoky quartz will be at our feet. So I'll mention that a little later too. I'm giving you kind of like little snippets of what we're going to talk about.
But one thing you didn't mention about the giveaway, if you are new here, just comment. It doesn't matter what you comment. As long as you comment, we will see your name and you will be entered into this wheel that we will spin at the end of our live stream. And if it lands on your name, you're the lucky winner. So again, you'll win this beautiful Colombian quartz.
Oh, yes.
And if you are on right now, but you're like, I know I need to log off in a few minutes, still comment, because we will message you if you win.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Cool. So, being a shaman. It's a little hard to describe because it's a way of life.
It is hard to describe.
How would you describe it?
Oh, gosh. I guess in simple terms, it's like a religion. Kind of.
It's more like a way of life.
Yeah.
Because a religion, so...
It's a practice. It's a belief. So it's a practice, it's a belief.
It's like a lifestyle.
So kind of like religion-ish.
But a
not
religion
like
involves...
church religion.
Yeah,
it's more like working on yourself in order to help
Well, the
others.
biggest difference between shamanism and religion is that we don't have deities or anything like that.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a way of life.
Yes.
There's no
We're all
gods or anything like that. That's supplemental to what and I talk about that too. So it encompasses everything that people need and everything spiritual, essentially. We do a wide variety of things for people. We do house cleansings, we do healing work, we do soul retrievals. Even some of us even work with death and do exorcism. Some of us do animal work. Some of us do nature work. So we're focusing on the trees and blessing the grounds and the lands. Some of us work on dreams, while others will work specifically with people.
But the most important thing to know is that we work on ourselves.
Yes.
First.
And
that is the important part. For
some people, in the beginning, if you decide to ever go on this path, for some people, in the beginning, it can seem very selfish, but that's not true. Because the age-old saying is like, if there are people that do rely on you to a degree, and if there are people that you can help, even in the future, or if you have good advice for someone at that point in time, if you're not healthy and you're not there, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. You have to focus on yourself first. You always come first before anyone else. And then everyone else comes next, whoever or whatever order you choose that.
Kind of like the oxygen thing on the airplane. You got to put yours on first before you put it on your child.
Exactly. So you have to save yourself, so in case you need to save the kid. That's how it is.
Yes.
So when I started learning shamanism under the traditions of the Mohawk tribe, a lot of us find our way through how lost we are as people, and how, in a way, broken we are as people, mentally, physically, whatever it may be. Hello, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Whatever it may be, I know for me, I was in a very low point in my life.
I was in the lowest point of my life when shamanism came into my life.
Yeah.
And I swear it will come into your life. It'll find you when you need it the most.
If it is definitely for you.
Yes.
Because this does come with, like I said earlier, it does come with a level of responsibility. One of the it's the greatest responsibility I've ever encountered in my life. And probably ever will encounter in my life. But I was at a very low point, and there was this, I'll tell my story. I was at Anna Maria College in Marketing 101. I don't remember, I think it was like Intro to Marketing or something stupid. And there was a dude sitting behind me, and I needed a pencil because I wasn't prepared that day. Because like I said, I was at a low point in my life. I wasn't thinking about anything. I wasn't caring about anything. I was just showing up. And I turn around, I'm like, hey man, you got a pencil? I need a pencil. And he gives me a green one. And I say, interesting. And he was like, what? And I was just like, my birthstone's emerald. So it's kind of funny. He gave me a green one.
You just like automatically thought to say that? The emerald thing?
Mm-hmm. And he said, oh, that's funny. Mine is too. And then he asked what my birthday was. And turns out we had the same birthday, May 24th. But we were exactly 20 years apart.
Hi, Gina.
Hey, Gina. So on and so forth. We start talking about spiritual things outside of class, whatnot, and he says, oh, you should come to one of the Halloween parties that we have, because it was getting close to Halloween. So I show up, and that night I had met a couple really important people at that house. Not even the person who gave me the pencil. I had already met him. But I met a couple very important people. One I found out was a shaman later. I didn't even know he was a shaman.
You're talking about John Brown?
Yes. But I, we were playing various games and stuff like that, but it was the way we were playing games. It was interesting. It's it's hard to describe. You can tell when someone is, in a way, using juice in a game. That's the best way I can describe it. Basically putting all their intent and what they want to happen in their game. Like we were playing beer pong. That you can do. You can absolutely do it. You can just put such an intent, focus, and intention behind it where it's like, you're almost like doing magic to win, which is not advisable. I don't advise it, but if you're with another person who can do it, it's fair game. It's fair game.
Honestly, I think that I can do that.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
I always say,
absolutely.
like, I've never really played sports, and I, like, think that I'm horrible, but, like, I just, like, pick something up, and I'm just...
That's the thing. So some of us are naturally good at that. But it was the way we were playing those games which got me curious. Only because I didn't know how to do any of those things at that point in time. So eventually this person who gave me the pencil, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name names throughout this whole stream because that's just like a privacy thing.
Yeah.
Except for Ron, because Ron is passed now. But he had given, what do you call it? Oh, he had said come to class. And then...
Ron?
No.
Okay.
Because remember, I'm not naming names.
No, I know. No, I know, but you gotta make it
the person
clear.
who gave me a pencil said, I am, doing a shamanic class again. You should check it out. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me see what's up with this. And the rest is history.
Yeah?
I
And that was pretty much the same thing with me.
Yeah.
They were like, come to this shaman group. I'm like, I don't really know what that is, but okay.
Yeah, and you know what? Like,
why not?
being a shaman, at least being a named shaman, I'll tell you all this. The day I got named, I didn't think anything would change. Things do change. You look at life differently. I don't know what happens. I cannot tell you for the life of me what happens. I really can't. But something changes. You do get, of course, a spiritual shift, which I'll talk about later too, but it's like it lasts forever. It still hasn't gone away for me. The thing is like when you have a different way of thinking now, you have a different way of looking at things now. Not only that, you get, thank you, Susan, you get a certain level of protection too, at least in this tradition. I cannot speak for druids. I cannot speak for any other shamanic tradition. I don't know why. That's the only thing that popped in my head. Actually, I do know why, but that's the only thing that popped in my head. But any other shamanic tradition I cannot speak for, but specifically for us. What?
I keep forgetting the sweat lodge we went to, what tradition they are.
Lakota.
Lakota.
So she'll bring that up in a minute. But what was I saying? You get, so the day I was named, you get a level of protection too, where it's much harder for someone to, let's say, curse you, or it's much harder for someone to do something against you.
That is true.
Unless you're at another low point, you have to be careful of that. And you cannot, at least in this tradition, you can't walk around saying you're a shaman without being named. It's disrespectful. But another big thing with this too is that, which is one of the reasons, so I do see spirits and things like that, but only if I allow them in the same room as me now. They're not allowed inherently in a room as me or her or another shaman in this tradition. When we walk into a room, they leave. They're not allowed. You can almost think of it like a priest or something like that, but they're just not allowed. Which is one of the reasons why I don't really like, I was like, I don't even like burn sage in my house anymore, except for the smell.
Let me tell you, in my house growing up, there were some scary things there.
And the crystal ball, right?
I've woken up in the middle of the night to some scary things in my house. But I have noticed that since being named, I am not scared whatsoever. Like, my house is the most peaceful house.
Because you're there. It's wherever, and it's gonna, like I said, I didn't say this. This could sound egotistical only because we're talking about ourselves, because we are this thing.
We got the power. Oh. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there goes me trying to make it humble. there goes. But.
No, we're humble. We're humble.
No, I swear.
I'm just the greatest thing there is, but
I don't even know how I can save this one. But the point being is that after you get these gifts, after doing a lot of work, you get these gifts later. You get these gifts after the responsibility you accept, which is not only the responsibility of you, but for the people around you too. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone in here has come into the store, because I'm really not good with names, but I've told a select few people who have come into the store that I am a shaman. And I know there's actually 2 people in here that, excuse me, I had Popeyes for lunch. Definitely not sitting well. I know there's 2 people in here, if they're still here, that do know I'm a shaman too, but I've told I actually feel like a significant amount of people that have come to the store that I am a shaman, because it seemed like, not to teach them, but at some point in time, I might need to help them. Sometimes you get an inkling, and I don't even care if that's 60 years from now, and they're like, I remember you, and I'm just like, all right, let's go, and I'm just like getting over there and like, probably not wanting to leave my house. But point being is that I know at some point I had a feeling that it may be beneficial to them. And that's one of the responsibilities you have too. Who do you tell? Who do you talk to about this? Now I'm telling all of you, but what do we do? How can this benefit people? What can we do to help the people around us after helping ourselves? What medicine can we bring? Like every day, there's questions. So, If you don't want to add anything else, I'll dive into some of the things we do.
Sure.
You don't want to add anything else?
I'm okay right now.
All right, cool. Do you want to talk about Sweat Lodge, actually?
All right.
We'll talk about Sweat Lodge.
Talk about Sweat Lodge.
Talk about Sweat Lodge.
All right, so our group joined another group. Starts with an L. I keep forgetting it.
So we didn't join. We didn't join them.
Not join them, but we were invited by them to go to the Sweat Lodge. It was an incredible experience. If you think a sauna is hot, try a Sweat Lodge. I have never sweat that much in my entire life, and I almost felt like I was on like this close to dying. But getting this close to dying was like the most
it's the
exhilarating. Like I've never felt so good in my life. But it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. It's very ritualistic.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, there's even like a specific dress code. So the woman, you have to wear either a long dress or a long skirt. Something cool, obviously, because of how much you're going to be sweating. Pretty much the Sweat Lodge, what it is the majority of the time, it's like sticks that are made into looking like a little...
Like a dome.
Yeah, dome. And then you just pile blankets upon blankets on top of this dome.
And you have a few people, I was lucky enough to be that day a fire keeper.
Yes.
So you make sure that the fire goes throughout the whole day, so the stones in the fire, which are known as the ancestors, heat up throughout the day, because those stones are going to be put into the pit.
Yes.
To radiate that heat.
So that was one good thing to mention is that the fire is outside of the dome during the whole day.
The fire is not in the dome with the blankets on the wood.
Exactly. So in the Sweat Lodge, there is a hole that's dug out in the center. And so those stones that are heating up all day from the fire are placed into the center when it's time.
Let's just radiate heat.
Yes.
And heat
so
and
again,
heat.
this fire is on all day. You cannot eat before it starts. You have to fast.
24 hours.
Yeah. Was it 24?
Yeah, it was 24.
Oh my gosh.
It was a full day.
Yeah. So, you can drink water though, just no food.
Yeah, you can drink water.
Yeah. So,
actually, it's probably good to drink water. Just flush
of course,
everything out.
obviously. So just no food, 24 hours before. So you can imagine how you're feeling at that point. And then you go into the Sweat Lodge.
And you're doing work throughout the day, too.
Yeah.
You're not just waiting for this thing to be done. Like, well, I mean, I guess it depends what I personally was doing work throughout the day. Because being a fire keeper, I'm making sure that the fire is good. And then we all move the stones in there, too. And the stones aren't they're not like stones. They're stones. They're ancestors. So we're taking pitchforks and shovels and putting it in. There was like 30 something stones, and they're not, you're going into the fire and pulling out the stones. You're not like, I mean, yeah, the fire cooled, like it's not like blazing and you're like stepping in, you're like, all right, let's see what happens. No, you did wait for the fire to like cool out, but it's hot in there still. Then you're going in with that, like putting it in, going in and putting, and this was on, I remember the day, it was 96 degrees. I'll never forget that.
Outside?
I was 96 degrees outside.
Oh my God.
I'll never forget
I forgot about that
because
part.
it made it incredibly hotter.
Yeah, like it was, I can't even tell you how hot it was. Just think of a sauna, it was 10 times hotter. So we all go in. I feel like the women sit on one side and the men sit on the other side. Is that how it was? Am I remembering correctly? Again, this was like 5 years ago now.
It was like that because Tim sat with you guys. Oh, I'm revealing names. Strike
okay.
that.
It's okay.
The person who was in charge of it.
Yes. No, I think, okay, so the women and children are on one side and the men are on the other side.
Hey, Bethany.
Hey. All right, so let's get into the ceremony itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're inside.
She'll remember it more than me. I'll
doors.
say this. I passed out and they let me and another friend of mine out.
Yes,
because I passed out. I chickened out.
No, I'm
just
kidding.
Passed out.
His side,
I didn't even know if I
believe
was
it or not, was
not.
even though we were in the same dome and it was pretty small, his side was significantly hotter than mine. I was sitting on the side with the women and the children, and so I think just because of that fact, because we took breaks. So to let it air out a little bit. We didn't sit in this dome for the entire time without like opening up. Like every so often we would open up the door and like lift up the blankets on the side to let some air in.
Because you have to be careful.
But we lifted our side up a little bit more than the guy's side. So
there are stories of people that are not of native blood that try to do this, and they've killed people or injured people.
Because that is really how hot it gets.
But you know, the person we did it with, he's been doing it for 30 years, and he is of the Lakota tribe. So you know, it makes sense. Like he knew what he was doing, obviously. So just the whole thing is such a beautiful and spiritual experience. It's way more than just going in this thing and sweating, like in detoxing, which is what you do in a sauna. Yeah. When
everything is closed and it is completely dark, you cannot see a single thing.
Yeah, that's another thing. No light could get in.
Yes, that's because there were so many blankets on the dome.
And no heat could escape.
No light whatsoever. So the man in charge, which we won't name names.
Yeah.
He would play a drum and he would chant, and that just brought on like I don't know how to explain it other than we saw, or at least I saw, and maybe you saw before you left.
Yes.
Spirits.
I saw things as I was passing out.
These like, because again, it's completely dark in there, and then you see just white flashes, like just circling around in the lodge, and you're just looking around like, am I really seeing this right now? Like, and you know, you're obviously gonna have that instinctual, like, you know what? Maybe it's because it's so hot and I'm just out of it, but like, no, it is just.
No, and this is one of those things where if you
incredible.
try to fight it with your self-doubt, it kind of just forces you to not.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't let you stop seeing it.
It's
like
insane.
I saw what she was seeing right before I passed out, like I said. But you know, here we are. No, it was a very beautiful experience. The songs he was singing, those are sacred songs. I forgot.
Sorry, I have to pee really bad.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back.
They definitely heard you say that.
You keep talking.
You didn't exactly whisper. All right. So, these were sacred songs that they were talking about. Now, this is a part of shamanism. It's one of the rituals. Different tradition though. So, being in there, like I said before I passed out, it was a very, very beautiful experience. Hello, Drew. It was a very, very beautiful experience. One I wouldn't trade for anything. Even though I couldn't stick through the whole thing, it was pretty amazing. And to be a firekeeper that day too is a very huge responsibility and honor to have that day too. And he just picks you. Oh, something we forgot to say is that I forgot the name of it. I can't believe I forgot the name, but the person in charge of the sweat lodge goes into another building, I'll say. And when you walk in there, he asks like, who are you? Whatever, like, what are you here for? And then you tell him, you give him an offering. I think in our bag it was, I think we each had like a $50 bill in there and tobacco. Now, it used to be just like tobacco, but you know, you have to live in both worlds. But one thing about our tradition is we're not allowed to charge money for any of our services. So, truthfully, if anyone here ever needs a house cleansing, I have to do it for free. I'm not allowed to charge you. I'm not allowed to accept anything money-wise, which is something I bring up in my notes here. Oddly enough, I'm not asking for this, but oddly enough, the universe's currency is gold, and humans made it worthy, like made it worthwhile and gave it a price. So if someone happens to at some point be like, well, do you want like quarter of this gold bar? I'd be like, well, yeah. Did we lose internet? It's saying we have 12 viewers still. Is that just the chat? Oh, there we go. Oh, Well, I'll wait for a few people to come in.
What are you talking about?
Well, we just went offline.
Oh, we reconnected.
I'll wait a few seconds for some people to come back in. We're back online.
How did we go off of the line?
I don't know.
Is it because I left?
Yeah.
It was the spirits. What did you talk about when I left?
Well, I'm still talking about how we're not allowed to charge money for our services.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll just keep going
Okay.
because now we're going on like close to a minute. So, all right, we're not allowed to charge for our services. Like I was saying, gold is a possibility if someone ever decides to do that because it's the universe's currency. But usually if someone wants to offer something, it has to be in the form of like food or something like medicine or something like that. So we're not allowed to charge money. But that was my offering to Tim. It was a $50 bill and tobacco in a little pouch. Remember we went into the hut with him?
I remember we made offerings. I forget what I brought.
I think we all brought the same thing because it had to equate to a specific. Because he was charging, so we had to equate to a specific amount of money for how many of us went. I think it was like 50 a person. So, so yeah, I don't know if you want to continue talking about your sweat lodge experience there.
I don't know. It was just like I had never felt so close to like death. I swear. Like I was that hot, and I'm surprised that I didn't pass out.
Yeah.
But just
It was tough.
it was
It was
just
not easy.
It was